we're ready to start on our next week of work in math. I hope you all had a great weekend and ready to do some more work this week. We are going to continue this week doing fractions. Remember how I had told you last week, we're going to be jumping around, and I will say it again, we're going to be jumping around in different lessons so that we can finish out all the lessons that are with fractions. We'll be doing that this week and for most of next week to finish out everything with fractions. Then we'll move on to decimals. So there'll be some jumping around this week. Expect it. It's okay. We're just going by topic instead of the lessons that are in order. Now the lesson that you have for today on Monday is lesson 96. Okay, and lesson 96 is on page 627. So turn to page 627 in your book. Remember that if you by chance do not have your textbook with you at home, I have attached a PDF. It goes unit by unit of the textbook so that you can be using that. If you don't have it, your actual book at home, you can still be doing the assignments, okay? So turn to lesson 96 on page 627, and you'll notice that the title is Using Reciprocals to Divide Fractions. Now remember, the last lesson we did last week was learning about what a reciprocal is. Do you remember what that is? If we have a fraction that's like 1/4, the reciprocal of that, we had a little squirrely, wiggly arrow. The reciprocal of it was, you just flip them around. 4/1 is the reciprocal. So, I have to always make sure I spell this right, reciprocal. Okay, so that's what a reciprocal is. Remember that, because that's the key to doing this lesson. If you remember what a reciprocal is, you are going to do awesome on this lesson. Because this lesson, when we use reciprocals to divide fractions, it's super easy, okay? Remember how we multiply fractions? Let's practice multiplying a fraction. If we have 1/2 of, and remember of means times, 1/2 of 3/4. Do you remember that we just multiply straight across? So we have 1 times 3 is 3, 2 times 4 is 8. So 1/2 of 3/4 is 3/8, and that is indeed true if you look at the fraction pieces. Okay, so 1/2 times 3/4 is 3/8. Now, the reason why you need to remember that is because there is a nifty trick for dividing fractions. Okay, so let's say we have, I'm making one up, 1/2 divided by 1/4. And you think, how do I divide? I don't know how to divide. Here's the nifty trick. All you have to do is change the second fraction into, give its reciprocal 4/1, because the reciprocal of 1/4 is 4/1, and turn it into a multiplication problem. That's all you have to do. Then you multiply the way you know how to do it. Just multiply straight across. 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2. Now I have to reduce that. What is 4/2? 4 2s. 2 goes into 4 2 times. So my answer to 1/2 divided by 1/4 is 2. Now if you think about it, it makes sense, because how many size 1/4 pieces fit into 1/2? 2 of them, okay? But that's all you have to do to divide a fraction. Flip the second fraction around to its reciprocal and multiply. And you end up with a division answer because you flipped it, okay? Let's try another one. If you look at the examples given in your book, example 1 on page 628 says 2/3 divided by 1/2. Uh-oh, that pen doesn't work. Let's try the blue pen. 2/3 divided by 1/2. Okay, I've got to change it into the reciprocal and a multiplication problem. The reciprocal of 1/2, flip it the other way, it's going to be 2/1. Now I just multiply the way I know how. 2 times times 2 is 4. 3 times 1 is 3. I have to change this. It's an improper fraction right now, so I have to reduce. 3 goes into 4 one time, and I have 1 left over. So the answer is 1 1/3. Let's see if we got it right. Yay, we did. It's 1 1/3. Okay. Example 2, that's on page 629, shows us what we do if we have a whole number. And I think you're going to know how to do this because of the lessons you did last week. It says 2 divided by 2/3. 2 divided by 2/3. All you have to do is remember that a whole number, to make it a fraction, you just put it over a fraction that has 1 as the denominator. So when we rewrite this, we're going to go 2 over 1 times the reciprocal, 3 halves. So now let's multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. I need to reduce this because it's improper. 2 goes into 6 3 times with no leftovers. So the answer is 3. And yay, we got that right. That's what it says in the book. The answer is 3. Okay? Now, your assignment is we're going to keep doing what we've been doing this last week. Lesson practice and worksheet. So you're going to do page 629, page 629, and you're doing all of the lesson practice. So that means A through K. A through K. And then you're doing the lesson 96 worksheet. Okay, and that worksheet has 11 problems on it that are, what it has you do is actually rewrite the problem with the second part flipped over the reciprocal, okay, and then you get the answer. So I actually recommend doing the worksheet first and then do the part in the book, because the worksheet gives you the spot to write your reciprocal, and I think it will get you in the habit of doing that. But really well. Okay, so do the worksheet first, then do lesson practice in the book, and you now know how to divide fractions. It's super easy, isn't it? Remember, contact me if you have any questions. You have my phone number. You know how to reach me by email or on Jupiter. And I hope you have fun doing this, because it's pretty easy. I love it. You'll see why I like fractions. All right, guys, take care. I'm missing you. Bye.